Hey, what's going on, guys? It's SJ here, and today we're going to be doing a first round NFL mock draft. I will be including some trades. I want it to be realistic, but I don't want it to be boring. So, for some picks, though, I feel as though there's some really, really obvious things. And let's just hop right into it. At number one overall, there's a lot of buzz around Trayvon Walker here. Aiden Hutchinson. I believe it was the owner and the GM both disagree on who they should go here. And Doug Peterson, their new head coach, I don't know if this has been officially reported, but yeah, I'd assume he'd be interested in an O lineman here. When he won the Super Bowl with the Eagles, he had a really good O line. He works best. And although they did franchise tag tackle, they could still take one here. But for the sake of not making things boring, I am going to go with Trayvon Walker here at number one. He had a really, really good combine, which impressed a lot of teams, and his draft stock rose dramatically. And so here at number two, I feel like if Trayvon Walker gets picked, the Lions, I feel like it's a no-brainer. I really do think it's a no-brainer that they're going to take Aiden Hutchinson. I think any team would be very, very, very happy to land Aiden Hutchinson there. And here at number three, recently, there's been a lot going around. Kayvon Thibodeaux is still here. Both of the top two tackles, Charles Cross, obviously still on the board. But there's been a lot of buzz at Jermaine Johnson, the edge from Florida State. He's getting some looks as well. At number three, I don't think he's gonna go here, but I do think the Texans I think they're all in on Davis Mills, and I think they can get defense later in the draft. So I think they're gonna take Ikem Ekwonu here. In my opinion, number one tackle on the board, the most versatile, in my opinion. I think Neal and then Cross. So Ekwonu, Neal, and Cross, in my opinion, great pick. It would be a great pick. And the Jets. So the Jets, at this point, they've got a lot. I think if Hutch and Thibodeaux are both taken in the top three, I think they easily go Sauce here at 4. But, they could use an edge right here. And of course, I know corner, they could go wide receiver, but that's more for a 10 pick. But I think if Kayvon Thibodeaux is here, I don't think they wait. I think they take him here at number 4. So now we have the Giants. And you're at 5. The Panthers are right behind you. They could go quarterback, the Panthers, or they could go tackle. And if you're the Giants, I think you really, really want Evan Neal. I think he's the best player on the board right now. Well, I think Sauce might be the best player in the draft period, but I think for their needs, Evan Neal has to be the pick here. All right. And like I said, want to have some trades, want to make things interesting. The Philadelphia Eagles, there's been some buzz recently so this draft is a really trade down heavy draft, so you really could get a lot of opportunities if you really do want to trade up to get a deal done. And for the Eagles, Sauce is still here at number 6. Now, I know Trent McDuffie's really good. In my opinion, if the Eagles don't trade up, they got to take him with 15 or, was it 18? 15 or 18? Yeah. But Sauce is here, and I think the Panthers would be willing to trade back. Unfortunately for this draft simulator, NFL mock draft database, I only have the first round selected. So you can only work with picks in this first round and future picks. So I won't exactly be super worried about future compensation. But if I did have to put it, I'd probably say they'd give up 15. one of their third round picks and Andre Dillard for 6 and maybe a Panthers 4th or 5th. That's what I think realistically would happen here. But here's what we got going. Philadelphia Eagles, they're going to trade up to number 6, and they're going to take Sauce Gardner. They get that young guy opposite of Slay. You can put Avonte Maddox in the nickel, and that's looking like a really improved defense, in my opinion. But here we are, Giants number 7, and they've got a lot of things going on. So you got your tackle for Danny Dimes, if you really want to go ahead and protect him. And you could do a lot of things here. If you are the Giants right here, Jermaine Johnson's still on the board. Derek Stingley's here. I don't think they'd go Hamilton, but they could. But I think there's a lot going on here with Kadarius Toney. And none of the wide receivers are off the board. Maybe they're in a spot to trade back. But I think in this scenario, they really think they're going to want Kadarius Toney out. There was also a report maybe they're shopping Darius Slayton. And I think they're going to get the speedster, Jameson Williams. I know there's a lot of risk that comes with the pick, but in my opinion, I think he's worth it. I really do. So right here at number 7, maybe a surprise of the draft, Jameson Williams is going to get picked here by the Giants. And now here we are at the Falcons. They really need some wide receiver help right now. They also need some help on defense. They could, I guess, go to pick a quarterback, but I don't see that happening. I think Jermaine Johnson could be a really good pick here. Only one wide receiver's off the board, and I don't think they'd pick Jameson Williams. I don't think he's their number 1. So, Falcons' second wide receiver off the board, they're going to take Garrett Wilson. And in this spot at number 9 for the Seahawks, it really just depends. So the way this board fell, I think the two of their top guys, 3 top guys, is Stingley, Cross, and Jermaine Johnson. I think that's their 3 top guys. I don't think they're going to trade up. I don't think they're going to trade down. I think they're really hoping that one of those guys will still be there at 9. And in this situation, all of them are there. Do you bolster that defense in the secondary to pair him with Jamal Adams? Do you get that front 7 more improved with Jermaine Johnson? Or do you stick with, whatever quarterback you have, whether it be Drew Lock, maybe it'll be Baker Mayfield? And I think that's what they're going to do. No matter who's at the helm, you need protection. And we saw how things went with Russ and Geno Smith last season. Seahawks are going to take Charles Cross here. And for the Jets, now you're in a really interesting situation. You got your guy Kayvon Thibodeau. Your defensive front is looking really nice. And, Kyle Hamilton is still here. Derek Stingley is here. You could double up on edge and go Jermaine Johnson. I don't think that would happen, though. Or, they could go wide receiver. Drake London and Chris Olave are still here. Do I think that they will go wide receiver here? I think realistically they will. Unfortunately, though, they really like Braxton Berrios. I believe that's his name. They re-signed him. Elijah Moore has a bright future. They got Corey Davis there. So do I personally think that they should go wide receiver? No. But do I think that's what's going to happen? Yes. So I think the Jets are going to take their guy Drake London here at number 10. Big body wide receiver. Reminds me of an Alshon Jeffrey type. Go up and get it. So yeah, that's what the Jets are going to do. And for the Washington Commanders, they got a lot going on here. Terry McLaurin's contract is coming up. But when you look at the board, there is still so much talent here on the defensive side of the ball. Kyle Hamilton, obviously. Derek Stingley, Jermaine Johnson, all those guys that I just talked about are still here. But I think they're going to get another Ohio State receiver. If they can't work things out with Terry McLaurin, they'll have a top talent still. And if they do, they'll have that Ohio State duo, give Carson Wentz a lot to work with. Commanders are going to go Chris Olave. And this wide receiver board, if the board were to fall this way, it's getting empty real fast for these first round guys. Of course, Treylon Burks, Jahan Dotson, George Pickens could be a sleeper pick in the first round. But so here we are at number 12 with the Vikings. And man, if you're the Vikings, I think you're ecstatic about this. I think you really are happy with how this board fell. You sat, you waited, and you are going to get your replacement, either corner or safety for, I can't remember his name, but their safety's getting up there in age. Probably 33, maybe 34. And in this spot, I do think the worries for Stingley are there, that he's not that guy he used to be. And I think they're going to take Kyle Hamilton at 12. And so now the Texans are back on the board. They got their tackle. And look who's still here. Jermaine Johnson. He's sitting right there. But I think this is where another trade may come in. The Panthers and the Saints are both right here. And personally, I don't think any of these quarterbacks, maybe one, I think one quarterback who we'll get to later is worth a first-round pick. I only think one of them is. But I don't think that's how a lot of these teams feel. And it's unfortunate that the Steelers, who will be trading up to this pick, it's unfortunate that I don't think they trust Mitchell Trubisky, because I think he would be a very, very good player for them. When he was with the Bears, Matt Nagy was an absolute dumpster fire. And then when he went to the Bills, we didn't really get to see him start, but he performed well when he did get snaps, and I think he's going to be really, really good. Unfortunately, I don't think the Steelers have that same sentiment, and in a world where they don't get Baker Mayfield, because the Browns are not, I don't think the Browns should release him. They're going to trade up. Again, I can't really do much about this. I could have put it for 7 rounds, but that just complicates things. Realistically, they're hopping, 7 picks? I think they probably throw in a third, maybe a fifth. I don't think the Texans really have to give up anything. I think the only thing they really do here is gain picks. And, who knows? That those edge guys that they want, Jermaine Johnson, George Karlaftis is still really, really good. David Ojabo, you could take a chance on him. They'll definitely still be there at 20, I think, and obviously in this mock draft they do as well. But here you are for the Steelers, offensive tackles in need. Trevor Penning is there, but we all know what they're doing here. But the question is, do they go Malik Willis, who is, viewed as by many as the best? Do they go Kenny Pickett or Matt Corral, Desmond Ridder, all viewed as the best by, a lot of different people? I think here, for the sake of this mock draft, I think they're going to keep it in Pittsburgh. They're going to take Kenny Pickett. They're going to get their guy, their fake juking guy, fake slide. And here we are. So now the Ravens. So in a lot of my mock drafts, a couple of them that I've done, I've had the Packers trading up here with one of these upcoming picks right before the Saints to get a wide receiver. But the way the board fell, a lot of those top guys are already gone, and I think that means they can afford to wait. So right here, the Ravens, obviously, it's got to be Jordan Davis. I think a lot of people are expecting that. I don't think, Jordan Davis is a top 10 talent. He's a top 10 talent. But the problem, not problem, but the thing with this draft is it is so, so deep. I have a lot of conversations about this, and you can go any way you want because there's so many things, there's so many players that are just amazing. They really are. There's so many players that are just really, really good. But, now here we are at the Panthers pick. And, they traded down, they gained some assets, and, they don't need a tackle anymore because in this mock draft, they got in what I think would happen. They got Andre Dillard from Philadelphia. And so, are they really realistically sticking with Sam Darnold? No. No, they're not. I know Ben McAdoo said, that they were, but they're not. They shouldn't. So Malik Willis fell to them here at 15, and that's what they're going to go with. Sorry about that. They're going to get their quarterback. Does he start right away? He shouldn't. I don't think any of them should. But maybe he will. Maybe he'll get his chance. And for the Saints here at 16, you're not taking a wide receiver. All those top guys, those couple top guys are gone. I don't think they want Matt Corral, Desmond Ridder, Sam Howell. I don't think they take them here at 16 or 19 for that matter. But I do think offensive tackle-wise, Trevor Penning is still here. And I think that's what they're going to go with. And a lot of the times now with the Chargers pick, I have them taking Trevor Penning. But Devontae Wyatt's still here. That's a really, really good pick for them. So that's what I'm going to have them going with. And, I feel like there's not a lot to explain with some of these picks. I feel like Trevor Penning, obvious pick. They, in this scenario, sticking with Jameis Winston, getting him that protection. For the Chargers, they really have a lot on their defense now, prior to picking Devontae Wyatt. But now with getting him, you're really committing to this elite defense that you need to compete in the AFC West and in the entire AFC for that matter. And so Philadelphia, you got, arguably the best player in the draft at Sauce when you traded up with the Panthers. You still have a pick here. There's a lot of wide receiver talent for the second round. I don't think they take Burks. I don't think they take Dotson. I think maybe in the second, I think they're probably going to end up with Pickens or John Mechie. If they traded up for Pickens, I think Pickens will be gone early and they pick at 51, I believe. So do they either take Jermaine Johnson is still there, Devin Lloyd, linebacker, pair him with Kazir White, finally have that elite linebacking core that we haven't had, that Philly hasn't had, for so long. That's what I think they should do. Unfortunately, Jermaine Johnson is still here. He's fallen all the way down the board to 18, and I don't think that's a talent you can pass up. I really don't. So at 18, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to take Jermaine Johnson, and that's really, really good for them. That is really, really good. That's a really, really good pick for an aging defense that needs some younger guys. And so here we are back at the Saints. They got Trevor Penning, and look at who's still on the board. Derek Stingley Jr. has fallen all the way down. Do I think he'll fall all the way down in real life? No, I don't. But it's happened here. And, Logan Hall, maybe he's a first-round guy. I don't really think the Saints feel that way. They already took one defensive player. I'm sorry. They already took one offensive lineman. And at this point, I think they're going to pull the trigger on Treylon Burks. I don't think that's the guy they wanted, but it's the guy they're going to end up with. It's the guy they got. And now here we are for the Texans. They traded back from 13 with the Pittsburgh Steelers so they could get their QB. And as you can see here, they got their tackle early in the draft. They got Ekwonu. And I think they're going to go edge here. George Karlaftis is still on the board, and he's very, very good. So they're going to take George Karlaftis here. And for the Patriots, in a lot of my mock drafts, I usually have them going Andrew Booth Jr. here because he's, one of the only top corner available. But in this situation, Derek Stingley is here at 21. They're gonna pull the trigger on him. There's no way that they don't. And they're very, very pleased that such a talent fell to them. And for the Packers, the board really did not fall the way that they would have wanted. They didn't have a chance to trade up for a top guy. Treylon Burks just got picked right in front of their eyes, only 3 picks away from them. And at this point, you're not going wide receiver. They could go edge. David Ajabo, is he worth it at 22? Same thing with Logan Hall. But when you look at the linebackers, Devin Lloyd is still here at 22. If the Pats don't pick him, the Packers, if nobody picks him, the Packs have to take him here. And for the Arizona Cardinals, they have a couple different needs here, but I think Trent McDuffie fell to them. You got to pick Trent McDuffie. I mean, he, in my opinion, is, the second best corner in the draft. I think it goes Sauce. I think McDuffie really, really made some heads turn. And I think McDuffie, at this point, if it's not 2019 Stingley, it's McDuffie. But Stingley's still very, very good. And for the Cowboys, I think it's a simple pick in my opinion. I think they're going to pick Tyler Linderbaum here. Replace what they lost at O-line. And the Bills pick here, it's really interesting. A lot of the time, I have them picking running back, usually Kenneth Walker or Breece Hall. But Andrew Booth Jr. is here. They need corner. They're going to take him. And these next 2 picks here, it's got to be Kenyon Green for the Titans and Zion Johnson for the Buccaneers. Bucks, they lost their interior offensive lineman, and they still want to keep Tom Brady protected. And the same goes for the Titans. You want to keep your guy protected, and they're going to get it right here. And so the Packers are back on the board. They already got their linebacker. Do they want to take wide receiver here? It's something that they could think about. Do they want to go D-line? I don't think Logan Hall should. So I think they're going to take David Ajobi here out of Michigan. They finished bolstering up that defense. Is this the first round you wanted if you're the Packers? Absolutely not. But I think that's what's going to happen. And for the Chiefs, a lot of times I see them trading up. I really do see them trading up, but I don't really think there's anybody that, maybe they wanted. Stingley was there. I think now that I'm thinking about it, definitely should have had them maybe make a move with Philly for Stingley. But it didn't happen here. It didn't happen in this world. And in a world of 5th-year options, this is something really important that I haven't really talked about. They lost some really good talent, offensive talent, and I think they're going to pick Jahan Dotson here. So it's important to have 5th-year options. And then, they pick again. I don't think they go corner. I don't think Keiir Lamb is that guy. I really don't think he's going to be all that. But Daxton Hill is a very, very good safety. He is a top talent right behind Kyle Hamilton, and I think that would be a great pick. And at 31 for the Bengals, this is always such a tough pick for me. It's always really, really difficult for me to decide who I want to go with here. Because when you look at some of their needs, interior offensive linemen, they're not going to pick any of these guys in the first. Not that they're not good. Second, third round talents, Salyer and Sean Ryan, I think they're really good. I think they go, top to mid second round, depending on who's picking. But, corner, like I said, I don't think Kier Lamb is that guy. I think they'd rather wait till the second to pick up a tackle. You know, I'm not entirely sure how to say his last name, but Falele, he'll definitely be there, in my opinion. But they're picking the second. Maybe they trade up a little bit. I honestly think that they're a really good trade back candidate here, but I don't see anyone really wanting to trade up. So I have them taking Lewis Cine here. Third safety goes in the first round. Cine is really, really good. He's up there with Daxton Hill. Not quite as good as Hamilton, in my opinion. And speaking of safety, not that the Lions will not be picking safety here. I really, really like Jalen Petrie and Jaquan Brisker. They are, again, top second, mid-second round players. At 51, like I mentioned, I think that's the Eagles' pick. They might go Jalen Petrie or Brisker if they're still there, if they don't pick wide receiver. Like I said, Pickens is probably a good pick for them. But it's the Detroit Lions at 32. And I mentioned this earlier. Fifth-year options are becoming such an important concept in the NFL. Whether it be good or bad, Baker Mayfield, the Browns have them stuck on a fifth-year option. Kyler Murray, he's holding out. He doesn't want to be in that Baker Mayfield situation. And then there's guys like Jordan Love, what the Packers did. They drafted their QB, so, they could pick up that fifth-year option. They could have that flexibility. And I mentioned earlier, I think there's only one quarterback worthy of being drafted in the first. And a lot of people might disagree with this, but it's got to be Desmond Ridder. The Lions have to pick Desmond Ridder here. They get their guys, sit behind Jared Goff. They have it out next season, after next season. And yeah, so let's sit over here and take a look. So in this draft, I only have 2 trades going down. It's really hard to pinpoint what exactly is going to happen. I mentioned this earlier. It's really, really difficult to know because so many different things can happen. Realistically, there could be a world where there's no trades. There could be a world where the Niners are picking at 10 because the Jets traded for Debo. And there's some buzz about the Lions at 2 trading back. They could pick Malik Willis. That's something that's really realistic and has been talked about a lot. So there's a lot of stuff that can happen. These are the only 2 trades that I went with. Again, it really just depends how the board falls. For example, I think the Eagles, really, really good trade-up candidate. Just today, I saw, if Kayvon Thibodeau falls out of the top 5, if Sauce falls out of the top 5, if any of those really, really top guys fall out of the top 5, they're making a move. They have 2 first-round picks. They have a lot of depth in this year's draft and next year's draft. And some players that they want to get off the books. I talked about Andre Dillard earlier, which I think would be included in the Panthers trade. Jalen Reagor, he's had a rough start with Philly. I understand that. It's kind of a Nelson Aguilar situation. Maybe he just needs a fresh start. But anyway, 1, Jags want Walker. 2, Hutchinson. 3, Ekwonu. 4, Thibodeau. 5, Neal. Trade with the Panthers. Sauce at 6. Jameson Williams 7. Garrett Wilson, 2 wide receivers here right off the bat. All of these top wide receivers going pretty soon after each other. Cross at 9. Really, really good pickup for the Seahawks. I think that also could be Stingley there, which again would affect the rest of the board. And honestly, I had Stingley dropping really, really far. Do I really think that's going to happen? I don't. But just the way the board fell, just how I think things could play out. And like I said, I hadn't really been keeping in mind about the Chiefs picks here. I think if Stingley falls out of, maybe in the top 15, Philly could be a trade back candidate. Maybe even the Saints at 19 if the wide receivers they want are gone. So yeah. Had 3 quarterbacks go in the first. Kenny Pickett, he was first off the board to the Steelers. Malik Willis, Panthers waited. They got their QB anyway. And of course, Desmond Ridder at the back end of the first. And, I'll talk about this a little bit. I think Desmond Ridder is just the most pro-ready quarterback in this draft. I know that there's the deep accuracy issue. There's the competition issue. But the kid's a winner. Desmond Ridder is simply a winner. He deserved to be there, ranked at number 4 in my opinion. And I think if Lions get him, that'd be a really good pick. Now, I will say the Colts, they don't have a first round pick this year. And obviously they have Matt Ryan. But I think if Desmond Ridder or Matt Corral is there when their pick turns up, I want to say maybe around 42 or 43, they're going to pick them, especially Desmond Ridder. So, yeah, that'll do it for me, guys. This will probably be the only mock draft I upload before the draft happens on Thursday. Maybe I'll get one more out. I highly doubt it. Maybe Thursday, like right before the draft. But yeah, so that'll be it. This has been SJ here from SJ Sports, and I will see you guys next time. Let me know what you thought about this mock draft in the comments. What do you think is going to happen? Do you see more trades, less trades? And who do you think is going to get picked where? Do you see maybe Stingley falling? Do you see some of these wide receivers going quick, or maybe they don't go as fast as we think? All right, that'll do for me. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.